Hello football! Today we decided to rank for you the top 7 players who are injured until the end of the season. Let's show how it happened, what kind of injuries and what matches forced the players to finish this season so early. In 7th place is Wesley Fofana from Leicester. He has the most unreasonable and stupid injury on our list, because he got it in an absolutely unnecessary pre-season match against Villarreal, where a player from the Spanish team simply flew into Fofana's leg out of emotion. And he flew in so badly that he broke Fofana's leg, and the injured player has already missed most of the season and there is no exact return date yet. Initially, they said that Fofana would not play only in 2021 and that he was out for at least 6 months, but now it's 2022 and the player still hasn't recovered. In January, Rodgers seems to have said that the player could return as early as February, but February is almost over and there is no news on the player, and it's still not known when Wesley Fofana will return to big football. We can say for sure only that Leicester has lost a lot due to the absence of Fofana, and you see, now Leicester has a very meager resource and the depth of the composition. Now there are still chances that Fofana will recover before the end of the season, so we put him in 7th place. In 6th place we have Duvan Zapata, who is the most important player for Atalanta and perhaps the team's best scorer. But unfortunately this season he was haunted by injuries from the very beginning. In the match of the 24th round of Serie A against Cagliari, the player came on as a substitute in the 58th minute, and already 14 minutes later Gasperini had to make a return substitution as the player was seriously injured. Significantly, it was Zapata's first outing after they seemingly cured his past muscle problems that took 6 weeks from his career, and now, according to the most conservative estimates, he seems to be back on April 25th. But in reality, given the situation and the severity of the injury, it may take 3 or 4 months for a full recovery. Luckily, Atalanta bought Jeremy Boga in the winter, who currently occupies Zapata's position. Yes, this replacement is not direct, but at least it smooths out all the problems in attack. In 5th place we have Kieran Trippier. He recently returned to the Premier League and even managed to play 4 matches and scored 2 goals for Newcastle, and everything seemed to be going fine, but then misfortune struck. He got injured. It happened in the match of the 25th round of the Premier League against Aston Villa, where Trippier got a fracture of the metatarsal bone. The injury is extremely unpleasant, and there are no exact forecasts for recovery. With positive treatment, recovery can take from 6 weeks, and then everything will depend on the circumstances. If Newcastle will solve the problems of survival in the Premier League, then maybe Howe will not want to take much risks with the player and will give him extra time to recover. But if everything goes bad, then maybe he will decide to throw Trippier into the fight in April. So for now, one thing is clear: Trippier is out for a long time, and the head coach have to solve the difficult question of who to replace the player. And as we understand it, Kieran has made a huge contribution to the team's recent successes, on which the question of survival in the league directly depends. 4th on our list is West Ham centre-back Angelo Ogbonna. The 33-year-old Italian has been an important part of West Ham for 7 seasons. Including this season, he started as a base player, having played 10 matches on the field without substitutions. On the November 7th, in the 11th round of the Premier League, in an important game against Liverpool, the player has got serious injury, a cruciate ligament rupture, and thus his season came to an end. The estimated recovery time is already the end of July, while his current contract ends at the end of June, and it will be sad if, because of this injury, the club does not want to renew the contract in order to not to take risks. The importance of this loss is actually very high, as West Ham don't have a large bench, and the loss of any player in theory could have an impact on the team. Now Moyes has only 3 central defenders, Zuma, Dawson and Diop, but even if you have 3 centre-backs, it's a very little given the ambitions of West Ham. In third place, we have Federico Chiesa. We consider him the best player of Juventus last season, that's for sure. After his move to Juve, Chiesa immediately won over with his dedication and drive. But this season, from the beginning, everything with this player didn't work out. From the very start of the season, the player tormented by injuries, and Chiesa had never been subject to them before. 3 injuries in 3 months. Of course, these injuries aren't severe, but nevertheless it's not good, it's unpleasant. And in January, bad luck reached high level, and the player in the 21st round match against Roma tore his cruciate ligament. Of course, he needed an operation, which was fortunately successful, but one way or another, the player will have about 7 months of recovery before returning to the field. The season for this player is 100% over, there can be no doubt. The only question is whether the player will have time to recover for the pre-season. We hope so and wish him the best of luck. We are coming to an end, and in second place we have Ben Chilwell from Chelsea. He suffered a cruciate ligament injury in a game against Juventus in the Champions League. Initially it was not clear how severe the injury was, and everyone hoped that it would be possible to manage with conservative treatment. But the injury turned out to be serious, and an operation was needed. As a result, the player will need at least 6 or 7 months of recovery, and he's expected to be out until the end of June. For Chelsea, the loss of Chilwell is a real disaster, especially when you consider that at the same time, due to a less serious injury, the second key flank player, Reece James, also dropped out. Together, this caused incredible problems for Tuchel, since the position of the laterals in his system is one of the key ones. And if the team started this season readily and frisky, and it even really seemed that Chelsea could compete for the championship, that after the loss of the main fullback and especially Chilwell, the team's result began to decline, and by the Christmas it became clear that Chelsea was apparently dropping out of championship race. The problem is not only that Chilwell dropped out, another trouble is that there is no one to replace him at all. And the good thing is that Tuchel found a temporary solution and often releases Sarah, who can play both on the flank and in the center. We are waiting for the return of Chilwell as soon as possible. It's hard time for Chelsea without him. And in the first place of our list we have Simon Kjaer, who is the captain of Milano. He was seriously injured in the 15th round of Serie A in the match against Genoa. Already at the 5th minute the player needed a replacement, and a little later it became known that Kjaer has torn his cruciate ligaments. The injury is very severe, and the standard recovery period here is at least 6 months. The problem here is that Kjaer is the leader of Milan's defense. He is not only a great defender, but he is also a person with leadership qualities. He can have a positive effect on other defenders, he can give them confidence, and he can suggest something. It is also important to understand that Milan doesn't have at least some depth on the bench, and so far Pioli is miraculously coping with the available resource. Just think, for several months now Pioli has been pulling out matches with Romagnoli, Tomori and Kalulu in the center of defense, and at the same time the team is seriously climbing the championship. Therefore, Pioli is certainly a genius, but a defender like Kjaer would definitely come in handy for him. So, write in the comments whose injury most seriously affected the club, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. Massimiliano Allegri was with you, good luck and take care. Bye!